So the Westworld Season 3 Episode 2 promo trailer has been online for a couple of days, and I had a chance to watch it and gather my thoughts. From the reintroduction of Maeve to Warworld, host Charlotte Hale, and the mystery character Serac being explored, it looks like the Winterline will be a pivotal episode of narrative development for the remainder of Season 3. In this video, I'm going to give you my breakdown of the trailer, as well as my overall predictions for the episode. If you want to see the trailer yourself, there will be a link in the description so you can go and see it before you listen to my breakdown. If you want to see more episode reviews for Westworld Season 3 along with other breakdowns and theory videos coming this season, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, give it a like rating. Without further ado, let's get into my breakdown of the Westworld Season 3 Episode 2 trailer. So the trailer for The Winterline opens with a heavy focus on Charlotte Hale, and in particular the host that Dolores has transferred into her host body. By the looks of it, what we are seeing is before the events of episode 1, the stage in which Dolores is getting whoever is currently in Charlotte Hale to adapt to their new host body. Dolores says that you have to pretend to be someone else. If we link this to the secret trailer released before episode 1, she also tells Hale in this sequence that I know you, and based on the closeness we've seen in other footage between the two, as I said in my theory video on Charlotte Hale, what we are seeing is someone that is close to Dolores, or that someone she trusts to act the role of Hale. In this episode, and based off the trailer, we seem to be getting the setup we need for this reveal. It looks like it's going to be an important part of this season, and at this current time I don't think anyone can put a justified example of who it is, but my current predictions would be either Peter Abernathy, Clementine, or something that will change the game in terms of Dolores and her future plans. Maybe what we are looking at is another copy of Dolores, and the host reveal we saw in episode 1 with Martin Connell's character could be connected to that. Maybe it's an expansion of an army, but we'll have to see. My money at this current stage though remains with Peter Abernathy, simply because we did not see the conclusion to the guest data storage in Season 2, which was activated by his control unit. And in episode 1 we got a very interesting focus on Dolores targeting board members of Delos and Insight who had visited the park as guests. So Dolores has done her research, and maybe she's using that guest data we didn't see the end of. Regardless, I think we're going to get a focus on Hale in this episode, and in particular, the beginning of the host that controls her, and their struggles with adapting to the real world. Moving on to Maeve, who looks to be the primary character of episode 2. Obviously we got a glimpse of her in the cutscene of episode 1, and it looks like we are getting a majority of this episode centered around her character in Warworld. In the trailer we see Maeve using her established abilities from Season 2, along with her reconnection to Hector, who seems to be helping her escape the park. In this preview we see Maeve still able to freeze hosts using the mesh network. Her journey and abilities all make sense to why Serac, the character who I will discuss later on, would want her to be the one to take down Dolores. The big question though is why would she want to? After all, Maeve completed her main drives in Season 2, which was to help her daughter get to safety, and she dies in doing so. But now it looks like, with the possibility of the help from Felix and Sylvester, she's back in Warworld. Similar to Shogun World in Season 2, I think that we are getting a narrative that will be important to Maeve come her exit into the real world. Possibly the realisation that this all may end up in another war. And the Season 3 marketing reminding us of the continuation of war throughout history may be something that pushes Maeve over the edge to stop Dolores. Again though, I think there has to be something greater involved to drive Maeve to team up with Serac. We also get a quick look at Bernard in this trailer, who has re-arrived at Westworld and sees in person the devastation of the park post the events of Season 2. It looks like most of the hosts have been shipped to other parks, hence Maeve being in Warworld, and I'm guessing that Felix and Sylvester would have made sure that Maeve remembers who she is. She would be confused as we see in the episode 1 cutscene, but not to an extent of having to regain consciousness. Bernard will possibly team up with Stubbs, who we see in the trailer fighting Delos guards to get Maeve a way out. This will potentially happen very quickly, as the photos released suggest, as it shows Maeve is already in the real world by the end of this episode. This is where she meets Serac, and we will hopefully get an introduction to not just his character, but why Maeve would agree to his plans. Serac is the one who controls the data and seems to have been watching the hosts as well as the guests, as he says to Maeve, "I have been waiting for you, Dolores and the others for a while." This shows that Rehoboam, the globe of data which we saw in episode 1, is going to be the centre of the war to come. The war of data, and as I mentioned with my Dolores and Charlotte Hale theory, I think this is all connected to this. Now on to some of the other characters in the trailer. We seem to get the blossoming of Dolores and Caleb's partnership, which will most likely start with Caleb helping to fix her from the damages she gained in episode 1. Dolores will encounter someone who is reversely similar in terms of the parallels we had of Caleb to Dolores in season 1. He's a character who is essentially used by the system, as Dolores was in her loops with the guests in Westworld. In episode 1, she was busy bringing down or replacing some of the wealthy elite who are in connection to Serac and the Rehoboam. Now she's seeing the lighter side of humanity and a character that she'd find some reflection in. I think we may also get the beginning of her plan to find Serac, because someone with that much data and power is potentially going to be somewhere out of reach for most people. We do see in one of the trailers him essentially above the clouds, and maybe he's in a location which is untouchable at this current stage. Even though I think we will get less of this in episode 2, it seems to be all going in this direction. The final character we get a glimpse of is William, or the Man in Black, who seems to be dealing with his own consequences. As we know at the end of season 2, William mistakenly killed his own daughter, thinking she was a host, as well as the exploration of his wife's suicide. In my opinion, he is at the point of no return, and he also looks to be in a transition phase. If you watched some of my other videos, I personally believe that William will agree to be used in the Fidelity program as a backup plan for the humans to fight Dolores if she gains control. I think what we are seeing with Dolores in her blue dress with William is either a testing stage of this program or his own psychological problems surrounding his human form. Maybe this could act as a reason towards his transition into attempting a Fidelity program. He's reached the end of being a human, and since his 30-year addiction to Westworld, maybe now he wants to become a part of that kind, but not to join them, rather to stop them. After all, it was William who said this place needs a villain, thanks to my humble contribution. And he also says in one of the previous trailers for season 3, "I'm going to save the world." I'm intrigued to see this direction they take with William in the episodes to come. The only other point to mention from this trailer is the shot of Bernard's son, who I don't think we can put a reason on why he's back, but it may be a memory to Arnold or something important for the development of Bernard's cornerstone. It does look like Hale is in the same room looking towards him, but this could just be a case of misdirectional editing. Either way, I'm sure we'll find out in the coming episodes. So I think the Winterline is going to be an important episode this season, one that will hopefully peel back the curtain more on the direction we are leading in, and one that also brings Maeve back to the show in a powerful way. The synopsis for the Winterline reads, "People put up a lot of walls, bring a sledgehammer to your life." So Maeve will be the focus within a series of German and Italian military fortifications set in Italy, and I'm looking forward to see it play out. This synopsis could also relate to some sort of weapon that the hosts will use to get out of their situations. As we seem to be getting Charlotte Hale inside of an insight facility, maybe we will see that riot control machine from the trailer cause some damage, but we will soon find out this Sunday. So let me know if you picked out anything from the trailer that I didn't, as well as your predictions for the episode. For reviews and recaps of all the upcoming episodes of Season 3, along with theories and breakdowns of certain topics surrounding this season of Westworld, as I said at the beginning of this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like rating. I'll be covering episode 2 along with a breakdown of the trailer for episode 3 next week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.